to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly on your own terms, beloveds, because that is what the seasons and times require of us. And I'm just here with a warning, beloveds, to all our family. I mean, not just in the divided states. I'm definitely going to talk about how this is going to affect Africa, because there will be an impact here, but to all our family in any part of Babylon, prepare for the darkest winter. And, Biden talked about it last year when he was coming in. He actually mentioned it 3 times or 2 times in a presidential debate. He talked about how it would be a very dark winter. And he kept putting that predictive programming out there. And many felt it was maybe attached to, what was happening with the pandemic. But, beloveds, that it looks like it wasn't last year there was going to be the dark winter, but it actually is going to be this year. And, there's many, channels out there that are talking about how this is going to be the darkest winter. And what it shows you, beloveds, is how predictive programming is used on our people. And, I'm going to do a separate show on predictive programming and how, ideas are unleashed on the people through media, through cartoons like The Simpsons, etc., etc., so that not only so that it can be, the people can then create it themselves out of fear and everything and imaginings, but also so that there will be less, rebellion when it happens. But these are master magicians, beloveds, even if not the ones we see at the forefront who are holding these, these major roles in this global theater, but the ones behind the scenes are master magicians. And how is it that a year ago, Biden predicted the darkest winter, and then here it comes? Because if you look, beloveds, I mean, there's been so many disturbing allegations out there from farmers coming out and saying that they were paid to destroy their crops, to a total collapse, what we're witnessing as a total collapse of the global supply chain network, where we're also witnessing, because of all the different rules with the New World Order agenda, ships off the coast of Miami and all these other places, a breakdown in in the trucking industry just because of the new rules of the New World Order, and people aren't having it. So it's like the entire system is breaking down. I think I was even seeing that in the divided states, they were going to hire major companies like UPS and I'm not sure which other one to help them in distributing food. Empty shelves is becoming commonplace in the divided states as well as in the divided kingdom. Many, have written to me, Ati, the divided kingdom is because of Brexit, etc., etc. Beloveds, this whole world is a theater. Don't buy into those narratives. Don't buy into those narratives, beloveds. They're made so believable. But, it's like what are those? Where those participatory theaters where you're part of the whole, you're part of the play? That's kind of what this world is all about. But beloveds, we're seeing you can see it. Those who have an eye to see, whose eye is open, are seeing what is unfolding. And it's heartbreaking when people email me and they're like, I don't see anything wrong. I've bowed to the New World Order, I've taken my double Mac, and, you're just exaggerating things. For those who have ears, may they hear. And may your eye, if you really have the passion to see, may your eye be open, beloveds, to see the agenda that's going on, that is like literally unfolding before our eyes. And people are going to be caught out in a Hunger Games sitting duck situation. That is why I keep bringing this message. And some people are like, don't do that. It adds to the negative vibes. No, we have to check the reality because many of us are out, but many, many more of our brethren are stuck in the matrix and they don't even know. So for the time that we have where we can talk and share the information that we can as we are led by the Spirit, we shall do so. And this is take heed, beloveds. Take heed. The darkest winter is coming and it's going to affect the entire world, beloveds. It's going to have an impact on the rest of the world. Prepare. And, many reach out and say they don't have the finances to prepare, they don't have this, they don't have that, they can't move out of the city. Well, then prepare yourself spiritually, psychologically, prepare your emotions for the things that you're going to see unraveling. Stock up on food, stock up on water where you can. Stock up on grains. And there's great channels out there that anyone who is living in the city, the urban prepper, the angry city prepper, wherever in the world, you can pick some tips from that about how to store food, what to store, especially if you have children. Because what is going to happen is that as we witness, this dark winter in the divided states where we see, breakdown of supply chains, people not able to get food, people not able to get water, breakout of violence, which many are reporting already is already starting to spiral. As we see that unravel, it is going to have an impact on the rest of the world. And here in Africa, what we need to be preparing for is the fact that things are going to get increasingly more expensive. The more you rely on Babylon soaps and Babylon toothpaste and Babylon clothes and Babylon this, your life is going to become unlivable. It's going to become very hard for you to afford those luxuries. Are they really luxuries or are they entrapments, beloveds? But it's going to become harder. So it's so important for us to take ourselves off that, to take ourselves off anything that is imported. Because countries now are going to go back to basically fending for themselves. And if you want those Babylon products, then you're going to have to bow to the system, beloveds. Like, that's the direction we're going in. So here in Africa, as I keep saying, order what you need now, like the solar panels, there's some great solar power generators, which you should have, which could literally power your house, beloveds, in the case, because we can see, countries like the divided kingdom and the divided states are running out of gas, they're running out of fuel, they're running out of diesel. Here in Kenya, there was a massive spike, as I mentioned, and then now the diesel has come down by like 5 shillings. You see, I even still use Babylon money. But all these things, store up petrol, beloveds. Store up anything that's coming from Babylon and find alternative ways to live. That's what we need to do here in Africa. But many of us have been kept out of the matrix. We've been kept out of the global system through this global engineered poverty. And as many of you have emailed me and said, we're going to be all right. Most people who are in the villages have no idea the kind of haste and speed that's being used in implementing the New World Order agenda, or what their governments are doing to bow to the system. Like, they have no clue what's going on. And they're going to be all right. But the people who are in the cities, the people who work in any of these Babylon systems, whether you're in the economy, whether you have a job in the private sector or the public sector, like, you are a sitting duck. Self-sustainability, minimizing your life, downgrading your life, that is the most important thing. But anyway, let's take a short break. When we come back, I'll let you know. There's a lot actually behind this whole dark winter code word. We'll be right back.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Welcome back, beloveds, to Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Seraki. So prepare yourself, beloveds, for Biden's dark winter. He talked about it heavily in his election. He talked about how he would enter, office amidst the dark winter, where he was talking about, the New World Order agenda. But it looks like that was some kind of predictive programming, and it's all rolling out, now. He was like a year too early, and Fauci and all these people are already talking of how, in September they were talking about how, the divided states could avoid the dark winter. But everything, if you look at the world as a stage, beloveds, and you look at how everything is unfolding, and you remember the key principle that everything is mental first, and you look at how all of a sudden Babylon is unraveling. I mean, I told you Babylon was falling, but they're also trying to, control the process. So it's like, it's naturally, there's the elements of nature, which are playing heavily, but there's also the elements of man, which are trying to create that thing that they know is coming. And this is what magicians usually do, like manipulate the energies to kind of shift it to a timeline that they have designed of how it will come out with the new global prison planet and the new world order agenda fully implemented. And I will talk about Operation Dark Winter because I think also there's so many rumors of war behind the scenes, beloveds. And if you're still listening to mainstream media, you're not going to catch what's really going on. I think recently China has actually declared themselves as a nuclear nation. I don't know, they made some big announcement with their nuclear weaponry. And many have been waiting to see if the divided states will respond. But there's, and China has made it very blatantly clear that they may, in fact, invade Taiwan. All these things, as Bob Marley said, wars and rumors of wars. That's what we're witnessing right now, beloveds. But the whole thing is to catch you unprepared so that you can be literally walked into the New World Order agenda, and you won't have a choice because you haven't prepared. And instead of getting ready, you've been a sitting duck in this fear-based mentality, thinking everything's going to be all right and everything's going to be back to normal. Nothing is ever going to go back to the way it was, beloveds. Ever. As they said, this is the new normal until the true revolutionaries change it. So I really hope that you're stocking up on food, stocking up on water. If you're here on the continent, make sure you have your own way to get water, whether it's a well, whether it's a borehole, where you're not relying on the government. Stock up on those seeds. Get those as many organic seeds as possible, because then that will give you life for life. But prepare yourselves emotionally and disconnect from Babylon, because the only way you'll bow to the Babylon system is if you're still connected. So make sure that your entire family income is not reliant on Babylon, because when Babylon says jump, you will jump. Whether you've said you won't, whether you've said you'll never ever, if you're totally reliant on the system, you will jump. You've had a year, beloveds, to prepare. A good year to prepare your minds and hearts. Remember, being in the right mental state, being aware of what's coming, is like 90% of the preparation journey, beloveds. Because once you're aware, and especially if you're on this spiritual walk, then your spiritual team will kick in and will start bringing all the necessary things to you. It's funny because I've been talking about this, and recently someone came and sold me these 20 of these canisters for stocking oil. I hadn't even thought about it. And then 2 weeks later, I delayed, beloveds. Let me be honest, I delayed. And 2 weeks later, the price of diesel shot up, where it was almost costing me $20 more to fuel my car. And then now, all of a sudden, it's gone back down again. So you best believe that I'm stocking up on that fuel. These are the things that are going to become, difficult to come by. But also in Africa, it's important that I mention this security, beloveds. Security, security, security. You need to learn how to, first of all, secure yourself. You see, here in Africa, most people have an askari or a guard or whatever. But when people get hungry, have you secured yourself? And that's why you need to build up your knowledge on spiritual security first, ensuring that you have your spiritual barriers in place so that when the enemy tries to penetrate, you see them immediately and they're stopped immediately. You see, nature is our greatest security, beloveds. But you have to prepare for the fact that as things get more expensive, even if your family, can afford it, more and more of the wider community won't be able to. They'll fall off into the poverty line, which makes your wealth a threat to you. Unless you've dialed down your life, you're living simple, you're out of the cities, you're living in the village, and you need to get your spiritual barriers in place. Because there will come a day, beloveds, for those of you who have, here in Kenya we call them askaris, but guards in your luxurious homes where you won't have that anymore. So how will you secure you and your family? And gun laws here, I think to get a license for a gun is quite complicated across Africa. I'm sure people have illegal ones, but how will you secure you and your family? That's going to be the greatest threat, because it's going to be this engineered poverty is going to explode across the continent. And we won't have, the former colonial masters to feed our people because they'll be struggling to feed their own. Prepare, 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 beloveds. Because from this dark winter, we'll see the complete rollout. These guys have until like 2025 to do what they need to do. Some say 2023. I believe they've already run out of time. Tuko pamoja.